fact that
I
the
like
biggest ones can weigh
turtles.
200, 300 pounds forbidden fruit, and then carefully persuade the squirrel to share by slapping the taste out its mouth. The macaque will deliver 5 fingers to the face until the squirrel backs off, which is when this disrespectful primate eats the fruit the squirrel found. Only when the macaque is done can the squirrel get the leftovers. The squirrel does all that work just to get its pockets taken by a primate at the end. It's like if taxes had hands and knew how to use them. As a society, we should be more afraid of orangutans. Because if this ginger-flavored refrigerator ever decides to Planet of the Apes us, we're let me tell y'all a story on why we should be more afraid of them.
Alright.
So at the Omaha Zoo in Nebraska, the zookeeper showed up in the morning and found 5 of the orangutans just chilling outside their enclosure. Someone forgot to lock the enclosure, so they brought them back in, no big deal.
What?
Except, it happened again with the zookeepers finding the orangutans posted outside like Thanos in Endgame. It just kept happening to the point where the head keeper was ready to put someone on unemployment. It's until they found out why. There was an orangutan named Fu Manchu who had found a lockpick and bent it so he could use it as the key to unlock the maintenance door. The reason it took so long to find out is because he hid the lock between his gum and lips where nobody would be crazy enough to look. Sometimes he'd free all of his friends, and while the orangutans were running around the zoo, Fu Manchu would go back to his enclosure and act innocent.
Bro, are you kidding me?
300-pound orange Bigfoot that decides when he wants to leave could easily put anybody in the zoo on CNN if you
Bro,
want. Nature made them gentle giants, but if they ever decide to choose violence, coffins are going to be on wholesale. This guy has a plan, and I do not like it.
Oh, look at him.
That is an American woodcock, and fun fact, they have some of the greatest nicknames of any bird. According to Wikipedia, it also answers to the timberdoodle, the bogsucker, and the hokum-poke. The wild timberdoodle
Hokum-poke,
can be
nice,
found
the
all across the eastern
hokum-poke
half of
bird.
North America. Now, for
Fuck
the
yeah,
dance
man, not
walking,
bad.
it's believed they do this to catch food. They eat mostly earthworms, and they'll stick and probe their bill into the soil and slurp up any worms they find. And by walking slowly and stepping hard with their feet, it causes any worm below to fear for its life and move around in the soil, which timberdoodle will find lunch. And it's probably true because these birds are most active early morning and early evening, which is when the worms do the most and are easiest to catch. The more you know.
Oh my god. Oh my fucking god, what did I just watch?
This is a thing that happens. Eagles will drag and drop goats off cliffs and then let them fall to their death. That was a golden eagle, and just for the record, it can have an 8-foot wingspan. This guy is 7. Not to mention his demon Tweety has talent strong enough to...
Golden Eagle's wingspans are bigger than Shaq? Learn something new that's terrifying every day, man.
7. Not to mention his demon Tweety has talent strong enough to break bones in your hand and crush a monkey's skull. Not only that, but this flying Bundy will hunt full-grown deer, baby caribou, and as you've seen, goats. Problem is, goats ain't soft, and one kick could break their hollow bones and cripple the bird for life. So instead, if a golden eagle ever catches a goat slipping, first it'll grab it with those vice grips it calls feet and attempt to yeet them off the cliff, even though the goat can weigh more than they do. They don't let go until the last second, sending the goat free falling without a parachute. It was definitely manslaughter, but by letting the goat get clapped by gravity, this feather felon gets a free meal without having to risk his own life. But goats aren't the only victim. Eagles have been known to airdrop tortoises from hundreds of feet in the air until the shell shatters on the ground below. And allegedly, one eagle turned a man into a name on a stone after it dropped a tortoise on the back of its head. Goat got hit with a real-life blue shell. Also, this steroid homicide pigeon has been known to attack wolves and run phase with foxes because they don't...
Bro got hit with a real-life blue shell. Oh my god.
Goat get clapped by gravity. This feather felon gets a free meal without having to risk its own life. But goats aren't the only victim. Eagles have been known to airdrop tortoises from hundreds of feet in the air until the shell shatters on the ground below. And allegedly, one eagle turned a man into a name on a stone after it dropped a tortoise on the back of its head. Goat got hit with a real-life blue shell. Also, this steroid homicide pigeon has been known to attack wolves and run phase with foxes because they don't discriminate. Anyone can get the smoke. They live by no morals and answer to no God, and they probably could be putting people on shirts if they really wanted to.
Bro, what the fuck is that, man?
Billions. We've spent billions of dollars trying to explore space when the real ET is happening right in the ocean. This alien is actually crinoid, which is a type of echinoderm, which is just a fancy scientific way of saying this thing is related to starfish, sea urchins, and sea cucumbers.
Okay,
the free-swimming ones
sense.
are called feather stars. But like all adults,
Feather
eventually they have to
stars.
settle down and be boring, and once they're attached to the seafloor, they're known as sea lilies. They feed by snatching whatever plankton mess around and touch those arms, and when they do, their arms push in towards a feeding groove where they get propelled towards their mouth like a conveyor belt. And because the ocean is a f***ing simulation, the longest crinoid fossils ever found were 130 feet long, and in case you don't understand what that is, the largest giant squid ever caught was 43 feet, and the biggest blue whales are just under 100. Matter of fact, this prehistoric starfish on steroids would have been almost half the length of the Statue of Liberty. some old heads too, with some fossils believed to be over 340 million years old, meaning they came up when Saturn was single because they're older than its rings. The feather star is able to swim even though it
Dude,
doesn't
that's
have eyes or a brain,
fucking
meaning I'm
scary,
officially out of excuses. They use instincts to swim, with their arms propelling them forward. My dad tried to teach me through instinct by throwing me in the pool. Instead, he almost got a baptism and an abortion for the price of one. If the feather star loses an arm to an op, they can always grow it back, and some species have 150 arms to spare. The only off thing about them is that their mouth is literally right next to their anus, which literally sucks ass. But other than that, this breaststroking body snatcher is actually pretty cool.
Yo, what is this gonna be?
Hello.
She's a stronger person than me, because my soul would have filed for divorce the moment this thing pulled up on my address. This goat has a plan, and it is not a good one. From the look of those soul-sapped eyes, closing the door might slow it down, but it won't stop it. Anyway, this is a La Mancha goat. They look like they don't have ears, but they do. It's just that the outer part is basically non-existent. Also, it looks possessed because they have rectangles for pupils. But to be fair, having this helps them watch out for predators even while eating. And speaking of eating, even though they look like the spawn of Satan's barnyard, they're perfectly harmless because they mostly eat shrubs, herbs, and small trees. Except this guy, he eats souls and he finna go grocery shopping. Bro posted up like a Jehovah's Witness, but instead of speaking of the Lord, he looks like he'd rather just take you to him. Those are the eyes of a goat that is not
Oh,
afraid
what
of
the
hell.
hell? Yo, that was fucked. What am I watching? What is this?
Flamingos feed their young.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that looks really bad, but it's not what you think. It's not a flamingo putting another one on the news, they're both trying to feed its baby. Flamingos use crop milk to keep their chick alive for the first couple of weeks, and both the male and female do this. Crop milk obviously isn't actual milk, but it's the lining of the bird's crop, which is where they store food before it's digested. The gut juice is also high in protein and fat, and even red and white blood cells, which is basically the bird version of giving your baby vitamins for its immune system. Penguins and pigeons do the whole crop milk thing too. Now I'm gonna go ahead and answer two questions you probably already have. Number one, the reason it's red is because they're dyed, and feeding the chick red milk actually causes the parents to lose color, which they get back once the chick starts eating on its own. And number two, the reason the flamingo on top is just spilling it on the other's head, I have no idea. To be fair, the flamingo's brain is smaller than its eyeball, so they're probably just a little confused. Which is a nice way of saying they're just a special kind of stupid. Lights are on, but ain't nobody home. This lizard can shrink its bones. This baby Godzilla is a marine iguana, and they're the only lizards that actually go out into the ocean. And even though it looks like it should be getting ready to put another gorilla on the news,
that thing goes in
they're
the
actually harvesting
ocean?
mostly seaweed and algae.
Bro,
The problem
what?
is, at least once a year, the waters get warmer and destroys the red and green algae that the iguanas like to eat, which causes a lot of them to starve and become a hashtag.
Oh
So
my
to stay alive,
God.
some of the iguanas will shrink,
was
and they
fucked.
can become up to 20% shorter. That would be like a 6-foot man waking up a pair of heels short of 5 feet. Many scientists believe they're able to reabsorb their own bones, which is what causes the shrinkage. Now, the reason they do this is because the smaller they are, the less food they need, and the less energy they have to waste.
Well,
trying to fight.
obviously.
Once the water gets cooler and
That's
the algae comes
obvious.
back,
If you don't
the iguana
know
goes back
that,
to normal
you're just
size.
slow.
Moral of this video: we eat less to lose weight, and they lose length to eat less. Listen here, I'm about to tell you 5 things you did not know about the octopus.
Alright.
Number 1, you know how the man of war is basically a jellyfish on juice? That
No.
can have you looking like you got 50 shaded? Well, the
No.
octopus will strap up by arming themselves with the tentacles of the man of war and swing them at any predator or op that tries to press them.
Did not know
Basically
that.
using the disembodied venom arms the same way a corner store junkie might use a broken beer bottle as a weapon. Number 2, they have post-nut clarity so bad...
Did it
literally-
really just say that it grabs a nether squid's arms and uses them as a weapon? Is that what I just fucking...
You
Is
know
that
how
what
the
I
man
heard?
of war is basically a jellyfish on juice? That can have you looking like you got 50 shaded? Well, the octopus will strap up by arming themselves with the tentacles of the man of war and swing them at any predator or op that tries to press them.
Bro, what? These motherfuckers are using weapons. Octopuses are literally using weapons.
Basically using the disembodied venom arms the same way a corner store junkie might use a broken beer bottle as a weapon. Number 2, they have post-nut clarity
What the
so bad
fuck?
it literally kills them. After the Heapus hits for the first time, he pretty much goes into the octopus version of dementia. Symptoms include not eating, body lesions, uncoordinated movements, and the skin around his eyes retracted. This is called senescence, and it means he falls apart from the inside until either a predator puts him out of his misery or he starves to death. Our boy
Oh my
Squidward has
God.
2 choices in life. He can either live a virgin or die a man. Number 3, octopus will throw hands at fish right in the dome piece, and with 8 arms, there's plenty of hands to go around. We used to think they did this as a defensive response, but now it's believed they do it purely out of spite. Number 4, octopus will
Purely
team up
out
with
of
other fish
spite,
while hunting,
lol.
and they often choose groupers as partners. They work together and reap the benefits. Sometimes the octopus will switch up enticing the fish right in the head, but now we believe they do it to keep the fish honest. It's not confirmed, but it's believed that they smack around their hunting partners to keep spite. Number 4, octopus will team up with other fish while hunting, and they often choose groupers as partners.
That's
They work together
hilarious.
and reap the benefits. Sometimes the octopus will switch up enticing the fish right in the head, but now we believe they do it to keep the fish honest. It's not confirmed, but it's believed that they smack around their hunting partners to keep them in line and keep them from cheating them out of food. Who knows, maybe the octopus got screwed over by his last fish friend and works through his trauma by uppercutting his current partner. And number 5, octopus are members of a group called cephalopod, which is also part of a group called gastropods, which includes snails and slugs. Meaning Squidward and Gary are actually related. And yeah, that boy Squidward is actually an octopus. Man's got misspecied by his own moms. You hate to see it. So I said this was one of the smallest primates in the world, but I never said what was the smallest. That title belongs to this little guy right here.
Aww,
this is a
look
mouse
at
lemur.
him.
It's probably the cutest animal you've never heard of. If you have, it's probably because of this guy.
Oh,
As you can probably
what?
guess, this baby-faced tree jockey lives in Madagascar.
What?
There's different types of them, but the smallest of them all is the Madame Berth's mouse lemur. At about 1.1 ounces, most of them weigh less than a pencil. They also have by far the smallest brain of any primate, and at about 2 grams, it weighs about as much as a paperclip. Which explains why Mortis half a century with the mind of a toddler. These mortals of the world eat small insects, fruits, flowers, nectar, and
Makes
sometimes
sense.
each other. But they get bodied by almost everything, and one of their biggest
Well, yeah,
obstacles is
if
Fusa.
they're dumb
Apparently,
and
there's a good
small.
part of the internet that didn't know this actually existed. Mouse lemurs avoid becoming Fusa food by hiding in trees all day. Also, lemurs in general have learned to recognize the alarm calls of birds and then do the dash whenever they hear them. I forgot to
Nice.
mention this, but more specifically is a Goodman's mouse lemur. In case you were curious, King Julian is a ringtail and that boy Maurice is an ii. I don't really have a joke to end the video, so here's a baby mouse lemur.
Oh, look at them. They're so cute. Yeah, that was a good video, man. Like usual. Shout out to fucking Hood Nature, bro. That was a banger. That was a